5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, India. I am Dia.
And I'm Uday,
Bringing you yet another special news feature.
Today we take a look at this weekend's big event in our city, where book lovers like us gathered from all across the world.
Bookaroo, the first children's literature festival of India, was back again in Delhi.
In its 6th edition, it was bigger and better than ever.
Where authors from faraway places take us to faraway lands.
Our favorite correspondents, Ishan and Sabine, were there to catch all the action.
So let's hear from them. The story of Bookaroo 2013.
Hi, my name is Sabine. The schedule for Bookaroo had been on my wall for a month. All the sessions looked so great that I just couldn't make up my mind about which ones to attend. I knew one thing for sure though. The weekend was going to be full of discoveries, adventures, and a whole lot of fun.
Hi, my name is Ishan. I had my plan all set for Saturday and Sunday. There were sessions and more sessions, and I wanted to cram in as many as I could. I was really excited about my first session with Cornelia Funke. Cornelia has written over 50 books and is published in over 40 languages.
Are you writing any book right now? I'm always writing a book, I have to admit.
I learnt about the Thief Lord and many interesting characters. In my imagination, I was travelling through the streets of Venice.
Well, it's very easy to engage children because they engage you. So you tell them a story, you tell them to ask questions, and when you signal to them that you are very curious about their questions, they will just ask them.
In my first session at the Crafty Corner, we had to make a whole story on a piece of paper using images and words from old newspapers and magazines.
Can we have a just
If anybody has a dog, please hand it over.
Christian Duda is a German theatre director and screenwriter. Julia works as an illustrator and designer in Berlin. They were very sweet and encouraging. They taught me that we should always recycle, reuse and reduce.
Where we got the kids to create little stories of for themselves in little book formats with things they find in newspapers.
The kids are allowed to show their own books, and we are discussing what they made. And that makes them really happy and proud about their product.
My next session was Toon Tricks with Ajit Narayan. Ajit Narayan is a well-known cartoonist, workshop consultant, and author of several instructional books on cartoons.
This is what I do. I draw the same standing line, but I move the position of the sleeping line to the lower half of the circle or the oval.
The best part was that we could draw on the doodle wall.
Illustrations in picture storybooks is vital because it only fires the imagination of the children to the kind of visualization they do in their world of innocence is brought out in pictures, and when the artist interprets the script that is given to him, it only expands his horizon.
Wow! Looks like so much had already happened in half a day.
And yet, the weekend was gonna disappear. Just like that.
day, I met with some friends and we told each other about our day. We decided to check out the art gallery together. The illustrations were very colourful and beautiful. My friends told me about so many other sessions that I missed. Even Kajol, the famous actor, came to Bookaroo and many people got to see her.
Day 1 was a great success with over 6,000 children in attendance.
Day 2 was expected to have an even bigger crowd as it was a Sunday.
With a lot more sessions and activities in plan, the day was going to be jam-packed.
Sunday morning, my first session was with Josh Sain. I had already read 2 of her awesome books, and I was looking forward to her session called When Gods Came Down to Earth. Interestingly, I came to know that most of the gods in her books are nearly true to their mythological form.
My book is a fantasy story. It's a trilogy that's an adventure which has some divine characters. And the whole deal was how one would put them here in this context and how they'd behave.
Ankit Chadha practices the art form of Urdu storytelling and he loves working with children. He told us a story about a bear who woke up from hibernation to see that his forest was no longer there and a factory building being built instead. We had a question and answer session about the story.
First thing that really worked well in the story was that there's a repetition technique, so they knew what was coming, so I could come back to them again and again. And I think they started relating to the character in the story a lot. So when I was asking them questions, they put themselves in the shoes of the bear and then answered.
Eureka, the Children's Bookstore, had all international, national and regional bestsellers.
Let's have a look at some of the best sellers in Eureka this weekend. Oh look, the latest picture is so fun.
I picked this session because my friend had a book by the author, Uma Krishnaswamy, and she told me it was a very good book. Uma is an award-winning author of books for children and she lives in New Mexico. After reading a chapter from her book Uncle and Me, Uma asked the audience for ideas to make a story on the spot.
Fans and tractors, stop and stay a while. I read from a couple of my books and we talked basically about the structure of story. So we talked about what goes into a story and how stories take shape. And then we practiced creating a story. We closed our eyes, we listened to sounds, and then we took some of those sounds and created a story from them together. The kids did all the work and I cheered.
This brings us to the last segment of today's show.
A surprise session of this year's Bookaroo was held on Sunday evening with star chef Vikas Khanna.
As soon as Vikas came to the venue, there was a huge crowd with excited children and even more excited parents.
I picked this session because Vikas Khanna is a celebrity chef who has made cooking easy for children. He was one of the judges for Junior MasterChef India and I wanted to meet him in person.
What is your favorite food from Amritsar?
There was a short quiz, after which Vikas shared his personal story with us. He was funny and the session was very entertaining for all those who were present there.
And only you define where you have to go. Only you. Don't let anyone define it for you.
And eliminate it from around us.
I'm hungry.
Uday, Tia, come quickly. Ishan and Sabina here. Dinner is ready.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We hope you enjoyed our special news feature of Bookaroo 2013.
We hope to see you again in 2014. Until then, goodbye.